This is the RiverHawks SportsNest podcast, talking all things NSU athletics. I'm Shawn Solo.
And I'm Captain Morgan.
Brought to you by
NSU Athletics, Precision Consulting Group,
and DJ Shawn Solo Entertainment. The RiverHawks SportsNest is a Rogue Radio Network production.
You can like, follow, share, and enjoy the show. You can listen to RiverHawks SportsNest on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music.
Are you hungry or want to hang out for a cold brew with your friends? Emery's Grill has a wide selection of amazing food and drinks for everyone.
Emery's Grill, the captain's favorite, is a proud sponsor of the RiverHawks SportsNest and a supporter of NSU Athletics. So make your way downtown to Emery's Grill, located on 407 North Muskogee Avenue.
Go RiverHawks! All right, boys, y'all ready?
Ready when you
And the men are ready too. So.
Okay, good. Wait, is that a shot at me? What are you talking about?
Just saying.
Go. Well, here we are. The start of season 5. Welcome to the RiverHawks SportsNest. I am Shawn Solo.
And I am Captain Morgan.
Tonight, I would like to introduce our third member of the SportsNest team, Orry, the Voice Phillips.
Good to be here.
There we go. He doesn't know he's an official member, but yes, he's an official member. So like I said, this is the start of season number 5. So this is episode 501. We are at Emery's Grill in downtown Tahlequah. We want to thank Emery's Grill for hosting our show during the season. We'd like to encourage everyone to hang out and watch the show in person. The fall season, our show will be held every Monday night at 6 p.m. And of course, you can always catch the latest episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon, or watch the episodes on the Rogue Radio Network YouTube channel. So be sure to please like, follow, and subscribe. It kind of helps the platform reach out to the RiverHawk Nation.
And the purpose of our podcast is to get the information from the players and the coaches out to the community. Obviously that's pretty good. We want to help out the community, and there's sponsorships available, so you can reach out to us as mentioned online, and if you have some questions about that. But we're very pleased to be coming into our 5th season, actually now doing the podcast. So it's been cool to get to know the coaches along the way, and tonight we have special guests. So with that, I'll kick it back to you there, Shawn.
Well, like I said, we're kicking off season number 5 with the official introduction of the new head coach for your RiverHawks baseball team, Coach Kyle Williams.
There we go.
There we go, see?
Got a crowd noise.
I know.
Yes.
And, of course, in addition, we have our lovely athletic director, Coach John Sisemore, joining the show as always. So thank you, sir.
Very much. And I wanted to get that introduction out of the way there. So on our upcoming schedule, we've got a couple weeks, or we're going to do our podcast on Monday, starting a week after next, and we're going to do it with the new softball head coach, Cassidy Bowen. Excuse me. Sorry, Cassidy. With Cassidy Bowen, because on Wednesdays we'll be doing a coach's show with Coach Chev here at the Grill, and actually we're going to be out of town in a couple of weeks, so for a Thursday game. But that's also the second season of the Coach Darren Cheverini show, so that's pretty good. So we're excited about that. You'll be able to listen to that show for Coach Cheverini on 102.1 Lakes Country before on Friday night, I believe, is the scheduling right now. So yeah, we're excited to get all this information out there and be a part of it, and excited for the season. A lot of seasons there, so let's get on here.
And also, you'll be able to actually watch the show on the Rogue Radio Network as well. So after it's posted on broadcast on Lakes Country and, of course, on the NSU Go RiverHawks site. So let's just dive right into it.
And I'm going to kick it off with the first question there, Coach. So just to kind of start us out, first of all, welcome to Tahlequah. I know you've been here a couple of weeks. Talked to you a few times before that, so I know you've been coming in and out. So I hope your move here has been great. But coming back to you, before all that happened, what was your first reaction, your first thoughts when you got the call to actually come here to NSU?
Well, typically when Coach Sizemore's name pops up on my phone, he needs something. So it was just really excited, for the opportunity to get back up here and get a little closer to home. Grew up in Springfield, Missouri, so get a little closer to my parents, and then just more towards kind of the recruiting landscape that I'm more used to coming up through coaching at Crowder before, and a lot of connections up here in this area, and excited to get more more local to those people.
Yeah, so just a little more background on Kyle. Just recently was the head baseball coach at Cameron out of the Lone Star Conference, so head coaching experience at Division II in the Sooner State. Previously was an assistant under Coach Lawley over at Crowder. He is the all-time winningest coach in that program's history, one of the best JUCO baseball head coaches, I think, in the country right now. But you also have a shared connection with the man to your right in John Sisemore. At one point in time, he was head softball coach at Crowder. He also was the athletic director there. At the same time, you were an assistant at Crowder. So I want to go to you, John. Talk about what stuck out about Coach Williams in the hiring process, but also go into your past with him, perhaps previously over at Crowder.
Yeah, so, knowing Kyle for many, many years, he was at Crowder for a long time. He was like one of the mainstays.
Yep.
And I actually offered him the job before here at NSU, and the timing was not right at that point, and he was just getting ready to have a baby, and his wife was heavily involved in the institution that he was at before as a golf coach, and a lot of things just didn't line up at that time. But he was my first call when we had a baseball opening, and our previous coach went to the Division I level, and I knew he fit our program, he fit our mold, he understood what it takes to work really hard with not having a lot of resources, and he understands the game. He's got resources from all the areas around, and he gets it, understands it, and so he was my first choice previously, and timing didn't work out, and so when I had another opportunity, I knew he was going to be my first call again. So.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, going right into that, it's obviously with your previous coaching experience that Coach Sizemore felt that you are, the right person for the job to help build up the baseball program. And, of course, one of the first challenges I know you faced is building up a new roster with, I think, roughly less than 20 players left over from last year. So how have you tackled the short recruiting period to get to fill up the team and get players in here?
A lot of it's been, tapping back into that kind of recruiting grounds from being up here previously, but also, utilizing contacts that I had from coaching at Crowder in the junior college ranks. So when I accepted the job, we had 14 returners, I believe, and we just signed our 37th new guy. So we'll have 51 as of right now.
I like it.
A lot of those, Tulsa area guys. Whether it be JUCOs, we've got a couple out of NEO, a couple out of Connors, a couple Crowder guys, and then some guys that we were able to find through other, avenues, whether it be recruiting services, Twitter, whatever it may be, and then just connections that we've made from across the state. So I think we have 28 or 29 from in-state, and then our furthest guys from Ohio currently. So far and wide we were searching, but for all the challenges that the transfer portal brings and today's recruiting landscape, the timeline has kind of moved back a little bit because of that, and it helps. There's a lot of struggles with it, but when you're taking over a new team with 14 guys on the roster, it definitely helps out.
What's been the mood of the players that you are bringing in? Are they excited, or how's it?
Yeah,
what's
everybody
the
seems
mindset?
really excited. That's another part of today's day and age is guys are slowly figuring out that it's not necessarily, it's kind of taken for granted that there's people out there that care about the players and that are that find a good spot in a program that'll take care of them both as athletes and as students and as people. So everybody that we've talked to and recruited is really excited to get to the area. A lot of guys who were interested in NSU in the past because they're from, the immediate area. We had a guy, Bryce Parlin from Northwest Arkansas, a Bentonville kid that was at Central Arkansas. Really good arm transfer as a senior. And, that guy was never talked to by NSU in the past, So guys that have been, interested in the program but not necessarily kept in contact with that are excited that, one of our big goals in the recruiting process is to kind of put our flag in the 2.5, 3 hour immediate area of Tahlequah, because there's so much good baseball in this area, both high school and junior college. And so that's one thing that we tried to focus on as much as we could this first time around, obviously on the shortened timeline, and we've had a lot of success doing so.
Well, Coach, building off the recruiting you were talking about there, when you were you had coached 14 all Lone Star Conference players. Mm-hmm. So you just talked about the recruiting. So Tell us about how do you foster that growth now that you bring him in to also try to be an MIAA conference top-tier player?
Yeah, so it a lot of it comes down to personality of the player and that drive that they have, So in the recruiting process, we're probably honest almost to a fault, to where we lay it out for them, like what's going to be expected of them, the type of athletes that we're going to bring in, the numbers that we're bringing in, that it's going to be very competitive, and everybody gets different scholarship levels and all that stuff, but when we come in, we don't put the amount of scholarship that a guy's on his locker tag, So we might have 3 walk-ons starting in the outfield, who knows? But at the end of the day, it's going to be a competitive environment, day in and day out, and we're going to expect a lot of them, and finding guys that type of environment excites is a big part of bringing them in. And then once you get those type of guys in here, with the facilities and the opportunities we have, with the cages right next to the locker room, they have a code, they can hit 24/7, they can come in and do whatever they want. Obviously, Bo in the strength and conditioning department plays a huge part in that, making them better athletes, athletic training, whole 9 yards. So once we get them in here, it's just about putting them in the position to be successful and then allowing them to grow as athletes.
So going again back to your previous experience on the journey to getting to Tahlequah, passed at Cameron, passed at Crowder, briefly shining a light again on Crowder, coached under Coach Lawley. He's won grand total of 845 baseball games leading that program. That's the all-time best for that group. You were part of 262 of those on his staff in the mid-2010s, spanning 6 seasons, and then you were there just about as long at Cameron. So, again, plenty of opportunity to learn. You got to coach under one of the best, and then you got to lead a program in a tough league in the Lone Star, as well as in the Sooner State, so you're well accustomed, obviously, to the talent-rich areas of this state. What are some of the building blocks, the lessons you built on the way to getting this position at Northeastern State?
Yeah, I mean, Crowder, it was, like John touched on earlier, it was just all about work. We just showed up every day, and we just got after it. Whatever was, at Crowder today is a lot different than it was whenever I was there. They have the indoor that John helped fundraise for and get built and everything. They broke ground like 5 days after I accepted the job at Cameron, so
wow.
they waited for me to get out of there and then built the nice stuff. So, but whenever I committed as a I played at Crowder as well. So when I committed there, part of the outfield wall was missing. Like it was, we used to take ground balls with dimple balls in the parking lot when the field was too wet. Like we were hitting upstairs in the gym with like every other light was out, so the ball was going through shadows and all kinds of stuff. And so now everybody's like, "Oh man, you played and coached at Crowder. That must have been sweet." And it's like, no, that wasn't the same Crowder that I played at. So yeah, Lolly has the things that he has done there. I'm not sure that there's anybody in the country that could do what he has done from where that thing was when he took over, 20 years ago or whatever it was.
It's been about 20 years.
Yeah, so the way that he's been able to build it, everybody kind of looks at what it is now, and I mean, they're going into another year, they'll be ranked in the top 10 preseason. That's what everybody sees recently, but getting in there I graduated high school in 2009, so kind of seeing the transformation from then to now, it's really cool to see, and the lessons there were really just to get after it and to work, and there was restrictions financially and things like that we had to overcome a lot of back then, but just because you're fighting an uphill battle doesn't mean it's an excuse, and there's always a way to get it done regardless of what your financial situation is and that stuff. And then Cameron was a lot of the same stuff, being in the Lone Star, obviously, all the way down in the southwest corner of the state, really pretty difficult to recruit Oklahoma kids down there, just because Tulsa kids, obviously it's 3.5, 4 hours. We were an hour and a half closer to Dallas than we were to Tulsa. So, and then Oklahoma City has some really good D2 baseball in the city there too. So, we struggled to recruit Oklahoma kids, and then Texas, obviously there's a lot of really good baseball players down there. But at the same time, there's 10 schools in your conference that are in the same state that they get in-state scholarship money and all that kind of stuff. So, had to be creative down there and get guys in. Talented guys in that could still go compete in the league,
Well, let me ask you this, and not to put you on the spot or anything, but coming, I know you've been through a lot and you've seen a lot as far as facilities go. So here at NSU, kind of Tell me your thoughts about coming in, what you've seen, and then what kind of improvements that you think you might make here, and kind of what you're looking at with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly the facility's in a pretty good spot currently.
Good.
In terms of conference-wise, from the schools in MIAA that I know, we're probably a little bit lower than them just because a lot of them have turf fields and a lot of them have, their giant indoors and all the funding brought stuff from that stuff. But, we have a really, really nice locker room. We have a cage right there that's inside, right off the field. The playing surface is nice. The bubble gives us the opportunity to take ground balls and throw bullpens and stuff when it's wet outside. I think we're in. We've got everything that we need. Not necessarily everything that we want currently. I know we're fundraising for a new scoreboard currently. That's something that probably needs to be updated a little bit. But just slowly matching everything else to the improvements that they've made now. The lights. The bathroom area that was renovated recently, all those kind of things. It's taken strides in the recent past, and excited to see where it goes from there.
I'm going to kind of shift it over to John then. So you mentioned something about some scoreboard stuff. So what kind of what are you looking at over there?
Yeah, so I'll go back a little bit in the past. When I was at Crowder, we built the nicest indoor facility in JUCO in the entire country, and probably maybe in a lot of divisions, NCAA. And it's all fundraised, and we had no improvements in the past 20 years and before that. And we also developed the winningest programs in the entire country in baseball and softball, in any division, Division I, Division II. For 5 years, we were the winningest programs ever. And then we sent a lot of people into Major League Baseball who were getting ready to sign multi-million-dollar contracts. One of them right now was just in the All-Star game and going to sign maybe close to a $100 million contract. And so we're fortunate that we can utilize some of those resources, hopefully. But as far as our facilities right now, we're hoping to make some major improvements in the future. The NCAA's mandated some new fencing mandates, have to be padded in 27 if they're a solid wall. And so we're looking at what we're going to do with the fencing on the outfield and the infield. We just improved the infield last year and built brand new dugouts. We just spent $1.2 million in the last 2 years on lights. We also just upgraded the bathroom facilities to make them ADA compliant, the locker room and a little bit of the indoor. That was a few $100,000 as an upgrade from outside donors. And also just redid the landscaping and put in new fencing so that we can have VIP sections and some alcohol sales in baseball this coming season. And so you're going to see what you've already seen, major improvements. But in the future with the new fencing and regulations, you're going to see some updated in the next year or so. And hopefully we're in the works of some indoor facilities coming really soon. And we're in talks with those right now as we speak. So
That's good. That's exciting news.
Well, hopefully, and I've been calling this for last year as well, I'm hoping we get some type of beer garden on the right field wall because that's a hot place to be during the game because
That's
there's
what I've heard.
whole lot of chirping and at the other team, and their bullpen is right there. So, yeah. Well, I wanted to, before we go into the next segment here and take a commercial break, kind of get personal for you, Coach Kyle. What got you into baseball and what got you into taking that coaching path? What was your inspiration for doing that?
So baseball was kind of just, just kind of fell in love with the game. So my dad in high school was a wrestler. When I give him trouble all the time when I was small. When I was a kid, I was sitting in my high chair and I'd eat Cheerios with my left hand, and they didn't want a left-handed kid, so they tied my left hand down. And so I tell everybody I didn't have very good arm strength when I played, but there might be 98 in this left arm. Who knows? I could have been a big leaguer if they never would have tied that hand down. So, but yeah, just starting out and just really falling in love with the game, and then a lot of it comes from my relationship with my dad and the ability to spend time with him, go to the cage. The number of BP pitches that guy threw me from like ages 12 to 18 is out of this world. Just really enjoyed it from the jump. And then after I got done playing, wasn't really sure what I wanted to do and called Lolly, and he had a spot. So it's not necessarily something that I knew that I wanted to coach it from a really young age. But when I got done playing, I had an opportunity to stay in the game. And I had to pay my own way. I had to pay for my living, and didn't get paid anything for like the first 18 months of being a coach. But I got to wake up and go to the field every day and mow it and do all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of led us to where we are here. So yeah, very very blessed for the route that my career has taken, and yeah.
All right. Like the answer. Sounds good to me. Well, let's take a quick commercial break, get a word from our sponsors, and we will return here on the RiverHawks SportsNest. Hey, this is Shawn Solo. Are you in need of a professional DJ with over 20 years experience? Look no further than DJ Shawn Solo Entertainment. I can help make your special event exciting and memorable for you and your guests. For information and booking, please contact DJ Shawn Solo 72 on Facebook or Instagram. And as always, may the beats be with you. All right, we are back here at Emery's Grill, the RiverHawks SportsNest. We've got everybody here with us. We've got Coach Kyle Williams with us, the new head coach of the RiverHawks baseball. So we talked earlier about players and bringing the new players in here. One thing I wanted to ask about is, in athletics, one of the big talking points in developing and maintaining a program is the team culture. Mm-hmm. So what kind of culture are you aiming to build with the players to promote the team chemistry and a positive locker room to have success?
Yeah, I think the biggest part to successful team cultures is just accountability, and just holding those guys to the standards that the coaching staff and the players themselves know what it takes to be successful. At the end of the day, and any college baseball players know the effort and the attention to detail and all those things about what you have to do to be a successful individual, and two, a successful team. And so really it's just about setting that standard and then making sure that everybody's holding each other accountable. And the biggest thing comes from when the locker room buys in, because I can preach until I'm blue in the face at practice every day and after games and that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, we're only around them so much. And so when the players really truly buy in, and that accountability, carries over not only when the coach is around, but when the coach isn't around, that's when it really takes off. And when they, the players are kind of the engine that makes the ship go, and we can steer a little bit, but at the end of the day, if the players aren't pushing, then we're just going to be spinning our wheels.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of goes into leading up to this season. So you've just been here a few weeks. I know that you're getting things going, getting settled here. School starting here. So, there's not much as far as expectations on the field and wins and losses. That's not what I'm about to ask you about. Mm-hmm. But as far as what you were just talking about with the kind of the players you've been recruiting, well, what are your expectations on the field of the players? Again, not wins, not in terms of wins and losses this year, but what are you expecting to see from your players?
Yeah, our biggest thing is effort. We're going to play with a very high level of effort every day that we're out there, and having a short memory, on both sides. So whether you go out and your first 3 innings you have one base runner and strike out 7 the first time through the lineup, you got to have the same mentality when you go out there for the 4th inning. Just like if you're, bases loaded, 1 out in the first, and you're like, okay, I got to lock in and really get out of this. So having a short memory, forgetting the last play, focusing on the play that's right in front of you, and enjoying the game and playing with effort, because a lot of the highest effort baseball that you can watch is going to watch a 12U game, down at the local sandlot or something. And so if we can create an environment where guys enjoy baseball, and really enjoy being in the dugout together every single day, then it's going to lead us to having success in the win-loss column as well. So today, in today's day and age with social media, and we're coaching kids now who were young high schoolers when COVID happened, and when they were in 5th grade, like Twitter baseball rankings were a thing. And so when I was coming up, it was like the kids that lived within 20 minutes of you knew who you were, and outside of that, nobody really knew. So today, in today's game, the expectations for players are through the roof, and kids are starting to play travel baseball at 7 years old, expecting to, I got to work hard for the next 11 years to get that college scholarship. And when you get there, a lot of guys struggle to actually enjoy it, and there's just so much pressure that it causes them to implode, and then you can't go play good baseball if you're stressed out and worried about the outcome. So we really want to go enjoy it, and we want to enjoy it in the right way, and have an effort and energy and excitement for our teammates and all that kind of stuff. So.
Sorry, do you feel like the travel baseball has hurt the game because it's burning kids out sooner, or how do you feel like it's still a good tool to have travel baseball?
I think that it has its place. I think when you're starting kids as young as some people are, then that's when you kind of run into trouble. I think if you're 15, 16 years old and you realize that baseball is what you want to do, then travel baseball is a really good way to go enjoy baseball, and you can go play 85, 90 games in the summer and not have a single day off, and log 15,000 miles in the car with your parents, and that kind of stuff. When guys fall in love with the game and that kind of thing, they show up to school ready for the day-to-day grind of it because they've been doing it for so long. And
right.
So as long as they're in, kind of like I talked about earlier, the right environment of they're out there to play for the enjoyment of the game and not necessarily for the scholarship offers or the coaches in the stand or the scouts or whatever it may be. That's when you kind of start to go down the slippery slope of, do you actually love the game type of thing.
Sure.
So we've talked a lot about culture regarding the team. I would go even so far, let's talk about the program as a whole. One of the biggest things I think that's got to be checked off is getting alumni and student body back into the mix, get them excited about NSU baseball again. I got a few numbers to spit at you, Kyle. First one, back in 2022, we made the regional that year, one of probably our best season in our NCAA era. We were second in the MIAA behind Big Bad Central Missouri in attendance on average at home games, 10th in the nation, 10th in all of D2 baseball at 317. 3 years later, that sank to 129. In fact, our highest single-game attendance was 280 for our senior day on May 3rd. So our top attendance last season didn't even touch our average from 3 years ago. And, I think over the last few years, we started to see slowly but surely, and it really did a number across last year, started to become really noticeable then with alumni, student body starting to kind of dip in interest in NSU baseball. And everybody knows here that the cure for everything is winning, but on that journey and building back to prominence inside of the Central region, inside the MIAA, what's it going to take to get alumni and students back engaged and along for the ride?
Really, I think it's just, getting out there and letting alumni know that the program's welcoming for them. At the end of the day, the success that they had back under James and Jake and those years when those guys built it into a consistent winner, those are the guys as well as people before them that have really built NSU baseball to where it is today. So at the end of the day, we want to get out in front of them. We've been talking to some of the guys about doing an alumni weekend, whether it be in the fall or spring, and just be more inviting to guys who have been in the program in the past, because it's just as much their program as the players that are currently in it. So, and then like you said, when you win games, more people want to come watch.
Yep.
So, and our home schedule this year is going to be tough. We got UCM, Pitt State, Fort Hays, 2 games against UCO, all at home. So, if we're playing good baseball going into those, I don't see any reason why people wouldn't show up.
Yeah, so I'll kind of expand a little bit on that alumni involvement and engagement and kind of building that back up, what Jake and James and those guys did over the years. It's a big deal. But first I want to give a shout out to the huge audience that showed up tonight. So
Yes.
we have a lot of people here showed up to support in person. Our senior executive external associate athletic director, Andrew Fletcher, and his entire family's in the house.
Does that fit on one card? Or
It did.
Okay.
It did. And glad he's back in the game and taking us to the next level like he did in the last year or so. But also Tim McLean, our women's tennis coach, and newly hired men's tennis coach, Randy Edwards, also our number one social media camera guy / everything, do it all, superstar. And then it looks like our women's basketball coach's wife is here. Yeah.
Keith didn't make it.
Yeah.
She always shows up.
Keith slacking, along with his assistant coach and the men's assistant basketball coach, is also here. And it looks like one of our coordinators for football's wife and his entire family is here as well. And so we're excited about that. Everybody show. And last but not least, we're getting to you. Last but not least, our mayor of Tahlequah and our actually past alumni director, president. Yeah, she was a president. Not the vice, not the director. She was the president. She wasn't the associate mayor or the vice mayor. She is the mayor of Tahlequah, so I'm glad she showed up. And we've been talking with past alumni. They came to us and said, we want to help. We want to be a part of this. We want something good to happen for NSU baseball. And we are starting to connect the dots. We've got many people involved. They're starting an alumni group. It's going to be on Facebook. They're willing to help. They've been at all of our events, and they're going to grow that, and we're excited about the future for alumni and support. So.
Well, that's exciting stuff right there. That is.
And it's nice to have a big crowd here for episode 1 of this season. That's what's cool about doing it here at Emery's is that come hang out, meet people.
Yeah, this is my favorite place. Emery's is good food, good company. And I think we had mentioned before, there's actually a baseball player working here tonight. And I believe that Director Sisemore had mentioned that there's a lot of softball and baseball players that work here.
Yeah, Emery's and the owner and their whole entire team have been a huge batch. They've been a huge supporter of ours, and we can't thank them enough for allowing us this opportunity. They do a lot of other things behind the scene that you don't even know about. And so the city of Tahlequah and the local small mom and pop communities is what keeps us alive, and we appreciate them so much, and we want to continue to support them back. So,
well, let's get back into baseball talk here. So, Coach, you always, when you come in for an interview or whatnot, one of the big questions is, so where do you see yourself in 5 years kind of thing? So what's kind of in the back of your head on where you see this program in the next 3 to 5 years?
I mean,
without even stepping on the diamond, I guess.
Yeah. Well, before we throw a pitch, I think we're going to win the championship this year. So.
Okay.
No,
you heard it here first, folks.
So, obviously, expectations are high in terms of the height that this program can get to, and talking about the recency where we've had some really successful years for Riverhawk baseball. I don't see why there's anything holding us back from continuing what that kind of trajectory was up until the 22 season with Jake and James doing a really good job. Comes down to dominating the area and really making guys know that NSU is a good place to come play, and it's not necessarily a thing where if you're a local guy and you don't have any other options, it's like, I got to go to NSU type of thing, So, and turning it into a place where, we're not naive enough to think that we're ever going to out-recruit Oklahoma State or OU for a guy, But
whatever do you mean?
If we can go have some good years and put together, a good year or two and go have that upward trajectory, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to go win those kind of mid-level recruits where you could come to NSU and compete for a national championship at the D2 level. But with the way that Division I athletics is right now, it's few and far between where you're going to make a Cinderella run like a Murray State or an ORU or that type of thing. So, we kind of have that card in our back pocket for those guys to where, you can go be a bullpen guy at Oregon if you want to, or you can come to NSU and throw 80 innings and go win a national championship type thing. So,
right.
I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to do that here in Tahlequah.
Definitely, and going back to the competition, you highlighted it just a second ago, and we're recording this, by the way, Wednesday, August 6th. The schedule came out officially about 3 hours before we pressed the red button to go live here. Came out today. We opened the season about 6 months from now, February 3rd, against an in-state foe, Southeastern Oklahoma. Then we have our home opening series, February 6th to 8 against Upper Iowa. But you just mentioned it a few minutes ago, Kyle. It's a tough schedule at home, and I told you off air that I'd much rather play these teams, since we've got to play them, they're MIAA teams, I'd much rather play them in Tahlequah than have to rack up the miles going on the road. And I'm talking about Warrensburg. I'm talking about our opening MIAA series, Central Missouri, February 20th to 22nd. Then we got to turn around and play UCO twice. We got to go in and play Pittsburgh State in April. We're hosting Fort Hays, and they went from the absolute bottom of the MIAA to all of a sudden, if it weren't for a late season collapse, they could have made a regional. So those 4 teams really were the elite of the elite inside the association last year. For UCM, I mean, it's nothing new. They've won 6 straight MIAA regular season titles. They've been to 6 straight NCAA postseasons. They were national runners-up last year. 10 40-plus win seasons since 2010. Only 2 teams have had more in Division II. Pitt State, they made a regional last year. They had 5 starters in their lineup that were Division I transfers. Their top 2 starting pitchers, Division I transfers. That was basically, in my mind, a Division I level roster. And UCO, they're our arch rivals in state. Nobody wearing a green shirt likes them. Nobody wearing whatever they wear likes us. 5
Team out west, the team out west.
But the thing is you can't argue with the success they've had with John Martin. 5 regionals, and they won the MIAA title in the tournament last year. They changed the formats. Me personally, getting on the soapbox for about 5 seconds, I'm not a big fan of the new format, but it is what it is. They were able to take home the title. Ultimately, what do you know about the MIAA during your early time here at NSU? What makes those top programs as good as they are? And what's it going to be like welcoming them to Tahlequah next year?
I mean, really, it's, from being at Crowder and being in the area, obviously we're like 20 miles south of Missouri Southern there. So, being a Springfield, Missouri guy originally, have some familiarity with the league. I played at Lincoln after I played at Crowder back when they were still in the MIAA, before they ended the baseball program and then brought it back again. So, played in the MIAA, but, it's a tough league. Every league is going to be tough and have those teams at the top. Coming from the Lone Star, you got the Angelos and the UT Tylers and Lubbock Christian and all them. So, playing a high level of competition is nothing new to me. And those teams they're going to reload just because they have the facilities, they have the backing, they have the pedigree, and they're in good spots. So they're going to reload, and we're looking forward to going toe to toe with them.
Definitely. One more question I do want to ask about the roster. You mentioned reloaded big time. We don't have a ton of returners from last season. From a positional standpoint, I don't want to say what the priorities were, but what do you really look at as integral to building this team next season? What did you really look to address starting right out of the gate?
Really, we look for athleticism on the offensive side of the baseball. We want guys that have the ability to one, control the strike zone, and 2, hit the ball hard. So we're gonna try to kind of bang it out with people a little bit offensively, and then on the mound it's a nice mix of strikes and guys with good stuff type of thing. So obviously guys that have really good stuff and really good command, they're draft picks or SEC pitchers type thing. So you gotta have the ability to develop those guys and bring in the guys that have the good stuff. And get them in the strike zone, and then take some guys that throw a lot of strikes that maybe don't have the stuff to play at this level yet, and increase their athleticism and strength and all that kind of good stuff, and kind of mold both sides into one competitive pitching staff. So those are the 2 big things that we looked for. Positionally, we recruited every position pretty hard. Infield, we had 2 returners, I believe, that started more than 15 games, and then that was the only 2 spots. So we're bringing in a lot of outfielders, 5 catchers, and then 6, 7 infielders. So,
well, I'm going to kind of ask you on that, Coach. I know you've had to bring in. Obviously, you got the players there, but you had to bring in. Did you bring in some coaches here? Do you have helping you out there on the field?
Yeah. So we've actually got a 5-person coaching staff, 6-person coaching staff to start out. So I've got Cole White, who pitched here in 23 and 24, and then finished up last season at Missouri Southern. So he's coming back to help out. Logan Rutledge, who was here last year, he was a player 2 years ago, helped coach last year. Cotton Nyes, our volunteer, he'll be back again to help us out this year. And then our 2 GAs are Adam Scoggins, who pitched for me at Crowder, and then pitched at ORU and in the Dodgers organization for a little bit. And so he's going to come in and help out with the pitchers. And then Matt Schilling, he's another guy that I coached in the summers whenever I was at Crowder. And he went to Cowley, and then Carl Albert, and then played 3 years at Fort Smith. So he's coming over to help kind of spearhead the infield play and that kind of stuff. So, 6-person coaching staff. Exciting to be able to move some things around and get a good group in here.
And you had mentioned earlier, Bo. You work with Bo, the strength and conditioning coach,
yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear good things from him from every team.
Yeah.
He's got a big job.
Yeah.
But he does it well.
One guy, lots of athletes.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Built by Bo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bodies by Bo. Is that what they say?
Built by Bo.
Built by Bo. Yes.
Built by Bo.
Built by Bo.
Built by Bo.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to come back for another segment with our fun Fun stuff. The Shawn Solo trilogy and Walk the Plank. Be right back.
This is Captain Morgan from the RiverHawks SportsNest. If you're launching a startup or need help dialing in your sales and marketing, you need precision consulting. We help businesses grow with real strategies that get results. No fluff, just precision. Reach out directly to RiverHawks SportsNest on Facebook or Instagram for a free consultation. Ask for the captain.
All right, we are back for our final segment here on the RiverHawks SportsNest podcast. And this is where we get to have a little bit of fun and get to know usually our players, but now we get to know our coach. So we have the Shawn Solo trilogy. Obviously with my DJ name and the Falcon, you know, I'm a Star Wars nerd. Now these questions are not Star Wars related. These are just fun 3 questions.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong answer. So question 1, favorite baseball movie?
Bull Durham.
Yes. I was hoping you'd say that. Love that movie. I can watch that all the time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Question 2. Who or what is on your Spotify most played artist or song?
Currently, probably Oliver Anthony.
Okay.
Lots of country. You know, I kind of listen to it all, though. I used to be a big Mike Stud guy. But then he kind of stopped releasing new music. So the amount of hours that I've spent on a mower in my coaching career, you know, the music kind of gets old. So I'm a lot of podcasts now.
Okay.
So,
I got you.
Yeah.
Is there a podcast you really like right now?
Honestly, not really. I feel like everybody.
Whoa. Hey, we're right here.
Oh, RiverHawks SportsNest. I've got 500 episodes to catch up on, but I don't have to listen to 501.
No, you
here. So.
All right. Now, the final question. Oreo cookies. Dunk or not to dunk?
Dunk.
There we go.
Yeah, dunk.
All right.
And then crumble up and put in the bottom, so then the rest of the milk's good too.
All right. Well, the approval from the crowd on that one. So
Nice.
there
Shout
you go,
out, Bud.
Coach. Thank you. That is the Shawn Solo trilogy. Now we shift over
We're going to
to
shift
the
over
captain.
to captain with, we're going to walk the plank. All right. So if you get the question right, you get to stay on board and stay a member of the team. If you don't, you have to walk the plank. Hope you can swim. Now this season we're going to do something a little different. After you will get a bonus question if you get it right. You can stay on board and find the treasure, which will get you actually X marks the spot. Find the treasure, and you can get promoted to first shipmate. If you get it wrong, it's okay. You can stay on board. Now, if you actually get it wrong the first time, you're going to have to be out there in the water, and I hope you can swim, but I'll give you one more question to sink or swim to come back to the ship. So you'll have 2 questions total. And unlike Shawn Solo's, mine are right and wrong.
Yep.
So it's not just your opinion. So we'll kick it off real quick. So this is an easy one here. I'm coming in with the softball.
Okay.
Really. So what legendary baseball personality is credited with saying baseball is 90% mental and the other half is physical?
Oh my gosh.
Casey's, I'm going to give you 4. It's multiple choice, all right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to make it easy for you.
That makes me feel
Yeah.
better.
Casey Stengel, Yogi Berra, Tommy Lasorda, or Sparky Anderson?
Yogi Berra.
Correct. There you go.
All
All
right.
right.
Shit.
Stay aboard.
Yeah.
Very good. Now we're going to look for a treasure. And I'm getting some captain coins made up, but I don't have any right now. So that'll be the treasure. And if you get this one right, I'll get it to you when I get them in. So now this one is more tailored to you. So in 2017, your Crowder College team made it to the NCAA College World Series. Mm-hmm. Where was it held?
Grand Junction, Colorado.
Okay, didn't have to even give you there any kind of. I didn't give them multiple choice on that one. Very good. Just testing
He
your
better
memory
know
on
that one. He better know.
He better. So that was good. I'm glad you came up with it quick.
Yeah.
So very good. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was
Congratulations.
before they reseeded it, and so we went in as the number 3 seed in the country. So now they take the 10 teams that qualify and reseed them once they get out there. But we were number 3 in the country, and they had the bracket came out like 10 months before, and so we had to play Chipola, who was number 1 in the country, and they started a supplemental first rounder against us, and didn't go
well. Well, what about the reseeding when you got to the tournament? I think, or we did some of that this year with some tournament stuff that we were in. They kind of reseeded you after you got in the tournament.
Yeah, so that's what they do with the JUCO World Series now.
Okay.
10 teams qualify from all the districts, and then once those 10 teams qualify, they reseed you. A committee reseeds you, and then 1 and plays 8 and 9 and 10 after.
Do you have any thoughts on that
and all
change?
That kind of stuff.
No, I mean, I don't know, soundbite. Any thoughts on that change? Is that good or bad?
I think both of them have positives.
Okay.
I obviously, with what we ran into in 2017, I would really like to be reseeded and not have to play. I think that's the good part is, you don't have like the number 2 team playing the number 1 team, and then one team starts with a loss and has to fight their way back all the way through it. But,
yeah.
There's Iowa Western in 2014 lost game 1 and then won 7 straight in like 5 days to win the national championship. So no excuses, but but yeah, we I'd probably vote for a reseed. Yeah. Just from personal experience.
I do want to note, is that the most impressive walk the plank performance we've ever had on the podcast? I think it's got to be up there.
Yeah,
there was
definitely
no hesitation after the
either.
multiple choice, and then you didn't even need it on the
No,
screen.
he was on point.
Yeah, he's getting ready. I mean, he may be nominated for the Hall of Fame. Captain Walk the Plank Hall of Fame here in a few
All
years.
right.
So we'll see there.
Yeah.
But definitely, that was good. Quick questions. I mean,
I'm
quick.
glad you gave me multiple choice. I would have gotten Yogi Berra wrong.
I learned a long time ago.
My dad would have yelled at me.
Well, I've heard that saying or that line all the time, but I went blank. I couldn't have told you.
Well, but the thing is, once you hear on the multiple choice, you hear Yogi. Okay, it's got to be him because everybody loves a good quote from Yogi Berra.
Yeah.
Right. Well, before we close out, John, did you have any parting words for?
No, then, Coach mentions his dad might yell at him. His dad's yelled at me a time or two as well. So, just kidding. But no, hey, he's talked about the World Series in Grand Junction, and I've been to the one in Omaha, and he's had the experience, and that might be the greatest college baseball World Series ever put together. It's phenomenal, and some of the greatest talent. And he's been around it for a long time, and he knows how to make things happen. And we're just looking forward to a great season and to the next great years. So we're excited to see what happens.
Do you have any story you want to share from where y'all worked at before when y'all were together? Anything you want to share?
Yeah, you got a funny
Not on the
story.
air.
Yeah,
Is that for After Hours podcast?
yeah. We probably can't talk about those things on the air, but Coach worked his butt off, and he understands what it means to just go to the grind and get it done. And he also takes my point of view as well that once you get on that real mower in the middle of the field and you put your headphones on, everybody better leave you alone because that's the only piece that you get. Mm-hmm. And, I miss those days of being able to get away from all the hustle and bustle and just walk out on the field and just lose it and be enthralled in the coaching part of it. And those days don't happen very often. The coaching part for a coach doesn't really happen very often. All the other stuff behind the scenes and building and recruiting and the hard work that it takes. The day that you actually get to coach or go mow your field, that's the good days, and they're just very few far in between. So I hope he enjoys lots of those days.
Word to the wise for young coaches: when the new softball coach asks him to help you mow the field when he gets there, then do it because he might be the AD hiring you in like 14 years.
Right.
Good piece of advice right there,
No doubt.
Well, Coach, I wanted to plug. You've got some baseball camps coming up in the fall. Do you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah. So we had our first camp of the new coaching staff tenure this past Saturday. We had 48 guys out. We've already got 5 visits scheduled with guys that came to that camp, as well as one coming in the 2025 class that was at the camp. So, obviously use it to help supplement some funding things, but also the ability to see players that we wouldn't otherwise get to see necessarily just with the schedule and all that kind of stuff. It's hard to get out on the road and expensive. So when we can have them come to us, we're able to see them. But yeah, we put them out at RiverHawksBaseballCamps.com. I can't remember the dates off the top of my head. I just scheduled a new one. So, but yeah, excited to get that rolling and have the opportunity for local kids to come be seen, and hopefully we can build it into a thing to where we have other schools come in and help work the camp, recruit the camp, that kind of thing, and turn it into a yearly thing where JUCO coaches and other coaches from around the state can come in and see talent on our field.
Cool. And then also wanted to give a shout out to, you've got a new Instagram handle out there now. So it's at RiverHawks Base. So go follow that, and that way you can keep up on all the news and camps and whatnot. So
Yeah.
Before we go, I've got one last thing for you. Did you ever listen to The Ticket in Dallas when you were there at all?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Well, they had a thing on one of their shows on Bad Radio, but I've kind of done my own little version of it. So we need to get a liner from you, so that way we can put it on the audio. So.
All right. Hi, I'm Kyle Williams, and I always listen to Shawn Solo and Captain Morgan on the RiverHawks SportsNest. Go RiverHawks.
Yes, sir.
And Orry.
Why not?
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming out. It's an honor, and we cannot wait to take the diamond.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm glad you got a lot of support.
Yeah, excited to be here and excited to watch all the fall sports get after it.
Hey, we are 6 months away from the start of the Kyle Williams era at Rounsley Field, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the RiverHawks SportsNest. I'm Shawn Solo.
And I'm Captain Morgan.
And I'm the voice.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.